Hi, everybody. I hope everyone's doing okay. So you're going to notice it's a little bit different this week. We had some issues with Zoom before, so we are taking away all video for the time being. So you're only going to get to see me. I'll be here. I can't see you, but we have the chat. And so you're going to be able to chat with me. You can hear me. Okay, perfect. So you guys all should be able to hear me. If you can't, the chat is going to be open. The chat will be open for you to talk directly to me. It's not going to be open for you to talk to the whole group. So if you have a question for me, you can go ahead and put it in the chat anytime. And at the very end, I'll roll through the chat and make sure that I've answered everyone's questions if any questions come up in the meantime. So hi, everyone. Welcome. We are doing our CAASPP test prep workshop series. Today we are focusing on maths. You are in the grade 3 through 5 bracket. So if you're here with me, we're doing our elementary students today, grades 3, 4, and 5. We're going to be going over some math test taking strategies and some CAASPP practice test tutorial again. We did it a little bit last week. We just went over the practice test, how to access it, what to click, zoom in, zoom out, how to click next, all of that fun stuff. Today, we're actually going to do the math practice test. So I'm going to walk you through some math test taking strategies. We're going to talk a little bit about test anxiety, some things we can do to lower our anxiety, one strategy that we have, and then we're going to go into taking a practice test for math today. So our mission and visions, our mission statement. Our mission is to inspire and develop innovative, creative, self-directed learners, one scholar at a time. Our vision statement, our vision is to create a collaborative virtual learning community, inspiring scholars to appreciate the ways in which arts and sciences nurture a curiosity for lifelong learning and prepare scholars to take responsibility for their future success. Right here, we have our counseling page. I already talked about this a little bit in the last 2 sessions. If you're new here, I'm going to catch you up a little bit. So counseling isn't really for elementary students. It's more for middle school and high school. It is still accessible if our elementary school students need them, but you really won't be hearing from counselors until you get to middle school and you have electives and we start looking at course credits. If you wanted to reach out to your counselor for anything, it goes by last name. Those are your counselors. Here are the emails and the phone numbers. This will be attached in the slides. If you would like a copy of the slides, I can email it to you. And this presentation is going to be recorded. It's being recorded and it'll be uploaded to our Compass YouTube channel as well. So you can access this for the remainder of the year. So our agenda today. So we are going to be preparing your scholar for the mathematics portion of the CAASPP assessment with some initial test taking strategies. And we're going to do a step-by-step tutorial to assist your scholar with the log-on process to the mathematics practice test for the Smarter Balanced Assessment coming in spring of 2021. Coming right around the corner. All right, so first we are going to do some math test taking strategies. Let me try to move this bar out of the way so you can't see it. I hope it's not blocking anything. Okay. All right, so some test tips. Some test tips work better for certain kinds of tests. So today, like I said earlier, we're going to be talking about our math test specifically. So we're going to learn 3 tips that work best when you take a math test. So my math tip number 1 is to use scratch paper. The first math tip is to use scratch paper to do the math problems. So you're thinking, I've had this question come up. Are we allowed to have scratch paper on the CAASPP test? So yes, so it's a computer-based test. So you're going to be able to see the supervising teacher that's giving you your CAASPP test. If you, there'll be a little box where you can video chat if you need help, and then he or she, her face or his face will come up and they'll be able to help you. And you're going to be doing all of your work on the computer. All answers are going to be typed in. You're going to choose, you're going to submit, everything's on the computer. But you are able to use scratch paper, and I highly recommend that you do have scratch paper to work out those problems. And we'll go a little bit into how you should use your scratch paper and why in just a second. So scratch paper, highly recommended. Moms and dads, if you're on here, when they aren't taking their CAASPP test, you can have just some white plain paper on the side or lined paper. At the end of the CAASPP assessment, it'll ask for them to destroy the scratch paper. That way they can't hold on to any test questions since they are confidential. So scratch paper is highly encouraged, but then after the test, we'll just rip it up and toss it away after that. So for very simple problems, you may not need your scratch paper, but usually you should do your work on paper instead of in your head. Never try to do very complicated test problems in your head. Look at, he looks so sad. That's a big old long division problem. It looks like he can't do that all in his head. So you can use scratch paper to work out a long division or a multiplication problem. You can also use it to draw pictures or diagrams to help you figure out certain problems. So a problem like this would be much easier to solve if you draw it. So we're gonna do a little problem together right now. Watch how you could use scratch paper to figure out the answer. So Jake, Allie, Zoe, and Dan all ran a race together. Dan got 3rd place. Zoe was right behind Dan. Allie finished before Jake. What place did Jake get? Oh man, so that's a lot of words, and I could try to figure it out in my brain, but I think I'm gonna draw it out. That would probably be best. So first we're gonna draw and label the people in the problem and the places in the race. So I have a J for Jake, an A for Allie, a Z for Zoe, and a D for Dan. That's all of them. And then I have all the places they could be: 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So I've labeled them all, I've made a picture, and now I'm gonna try to solve this problem. The first clue says, Dan got 3rd place. So I see Dan got 3rd place. So I'm going to draw Dan in 3rd place. I'm going to move him right here. Perfect. The next clue says Zoe was right behind Dan. That must mean she was last if she was behind him. So I'm going to put Zoe as last. It says Allie finished before Jake. Since there's only 1st and 2nd left, she must have finished in 1st place then. So now that we've drawn it all out and I figured out by using this diagram, it's easy to see the answer. What place did Jake get? Yep, he got 2nd place. Can you see why drawing problems on your paper might help you? So it's really important for these kind of problems, instead of trying to figure them out in our brain, especially even in computer-based testing, that you're still using your scratch paper and trying to work them out. My math tip number 2 for you is we got to make sure we're using the correct operation. So you're going to see on this CAASPP test a lot of word problems, and they're not going to tell you exactly what you should be doing. You're going to have to look for clues to figure out what operation you're going to do. And you're thinking, what is an operation? An operation means subtraction, addition, division, multiplication, one of those operations that we're using. So let's try to see. You can do this by underlining keywords and phrases to help you know which operation. So for example, I have here, Asa and Bill both earned money selling cookies. Asa earned $4 and Bill earned $5. How much do they have all together? I'm going to underline that keyword or that phrase because that's going to help me know what I should be doing. So if I hear all together, what do I think I should be doing? I want you to think. You probably should be adding, right? So that keyword is telling me, oh, they want me to add. They want me to do 4 plus 5 to figure out how much they have all together. The next one, Kate jumped 10 times and Annie jumped 7 times. How many more times did Kate jump than Annie? I have that keyword or that phrase, how many more? So that's telling me how many more. Does that mean I should be adding? No. How many more? Does that mean I'm subtracting? Yep. You're subtracting. So 10 minus 7 equals 3. So that keyword is telling me, that key phrase is telling me what I should be doing. This one's super easy. The class had 30 students and divided into groups of 5. How many groups were there? It's telling me that keyword right there. It just tells me divided. So I know I need to do 30 divided by 5. And this one says, a girl brought 30 cookies for the 10 people in class. How many does each child get? Now, this one's a good question because if I was to see this, I would think I need to draw all these cookies out and try to see it for myself to figure it out. But we know that each probably means divide. So when you're doing math, I want you to go through and look for those keywords and phrases to try to get clues of what you should be doing. So Maggie underlined this phrase on her math problem. Click on which operation you think that she should use. So you can't click on this one, but I'm going to have you point to it, and I can't see you, so I hope you're pointing to the right one. Jackie ate 2 crackers. Esther ate 5. How many crackers did they eat in all? So think of that operation keyword. What's your clue? It's in all. What do you think we should be doing? Subtraction, addition, division, multiplication. Go ahead and point to which one you think you should be doing. Let's see. Not subtraction. Yep, you should be doing addition. So 2 plus 5 equals 7 in all. And then the next tip I have for you is math tip number 3, double check your work. The last tip is to double check your work. This is especially important on math tests because it's so easy to make small mistakes. Can you see the little mistake that this person made here? 5 times 3 equals 8. Oh no. And sometimes we make these simple mistakes too without realizing it. They accidentally added instead of multiplied. So it's really important to double check your work just to make sure that you're not making any simple mistakes. And this guy's saying, double check my work. Does that mean I have to pretty much do the whole test again? Oh, that's a lot of work to have to double check all your work. Nope, that's not what it means. So doing the test, whoops, let me go back. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go on this one. Okay. There we go. I'm going to try to move this. Doing the test the first time takes longer because you're seeing the problems for the first time and are trying to decide how to solve them. When you double check your work, it's much quicker. You can just quickly go through each equation and make sure you didn't make any careless errors or accidentally read the question wrong. So it's not going to take you as long as when you did it the first time. It's going to be faster, but it's really important to go through to make sure you didn't overlook anything or make any simple mistakes. All right, let's look at this one. So JC is double checking her addition problem. Can you see the error that she made? Let's see. Let's look. Okay, so she did 2,751 plus 213. And it looks like she did 1 plus 3 is 4. Good. 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay, that's still good. 7 plus 2 is 9. Good. Uh-oh. I see what she did. Do you guys see what she forgot to do? She forgot to bring this 2 down. That makes a big difference. She put her answer as 964 when if you brought this 2 down, it should be 2,964. So it's very important that we're double checking our work. Let's look at Arnold and his problem. So he's double checking his multiplication problem. Can you see the error that he made? Let's see. He did 8 times 5. Okay, that's 40. So I'm gonna put a 0 and I'm gonna carry my 4 up top. And then he did 2 times 8. Ooh, and it looks like he wrote 16. Do you see what he forgot to do? It looks like he forgot to add that 4 to his 16 to make 20. So do you guys see how little mistakes? And he did it right. He just accidentally forgot to do one step. So it's really important to double check. So let's review the tips that we've learned today for our math tests. Tip number 1, you're going to use scratch paper to draw, make diagrams, and to solve problems. When taking a test, don't try to do difficult problems all in your head. Make sure that you're trying to do them on an extra piece of scratch paper. And it's super important, even with computer-based testing, that you're still using scratch paper. Math tip number 2, make sure you use the correct operation. Try underlining keywords and plugging in your answers to see if it makes sense with the operation you chose. Make sure you're looking for those keywords and you're underlining, circling them, or writing them on the side. And then step number 3, we are going to, if you have time, double check your work. It's easy to make small errors while doing math problems. Redoing a problem can help you see if you've made errors. So just make sure, especially with those hard problems, if you weren't 100% sure or you might have made a little mistake, just go back, double check that you did everything correctly. All right, so now we're going to try the practice test. Before I do that, the older grades, middle school and high school today are going to talk a lot about test anxiety, but I just wanted to talk about it a little bit and what that actually feels like. So feeling anxious, if you don't know what that means, because some of us might have not felt that yet and some of us might not feel it at all, and that's okay too, but I still want to talk about it just a little bit. So when we feel anxious, means sometimes we get a little worried or stressed out. And sometimes when we get on here and we're going to take a really important test, it makes us feel not so good, right? So if you feel anxious, I'm going to give you a strategy that's super fun to help you regain control of yourself. And it's super easy, 5 steps that we can do, 5 things that'll help you feel more comfortable to take your test, okay? And it's things you can do all the time. If you notice sometimes that maybe you're overstimulated or sometimes you just need to calm down, it's too much, these are some really cool steps to do. So I call this the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's like a finger rule. So the first thing you do if you feel stressed out or overwhelmed when you're going to take a test is you're going to name 5 things you see, whether you're in a car, class, the doctor's office, in your house. You can look around the space and you can identify 5 things you see. So for me, for example, I can see this picture. I'm looking at that. I can see myself in the little corner right here. I can see my computer. I can see a notepad. I can see a cell phone. So it's just looking around and seeing what are 5 things that I can name that I can see. The next thing you're going to do is name 4 things that you can feel. Take note of what's happening in your immediate space. Are you holding your phone? Feel the texture of your shirt or the surface you're sitting on? Is your nail polish chipping? Can you move your toes in your shoes? You're going to try to feel 4 things that are around you. So if you're thinking, I can feel that I'm sitting in my chair. I can feel my sweatshirt on my skin. I can feel the earbuds in my ears. I can feel my hair on my neck. So you're just thinking 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel. And then you're going to think, what are 3 things that I can hear? Are the sounds in your immediate space, or can you zone to quiet noises in the background? Listen for 3 unique sounds that are happening around you. So it could be, is there an airplane going by in the sky? Is there a dog barking in the background? Do you hear someone in the kitchen putting dishes away? Just thinking, what are 3 things you can hear? The next one is 2 things you can smell. Smells can be pleasant or not. Pay attention to what's happening in your space and identify those 2 smells. Is it perfume, something cooking, coffee, the remnants of your snack? Close your eyes to help you focus if needed. So we have our 5 is see, 4 things that you can touch or feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things you can smell. And then the last one is name 1 thing that you can taste. Can you still taste your toothpaste or what you ate for lunch? If nothing is obviously standing out, take a few extra seconds and really focus on your sense of taste. So if you feel like you're overwhelmed, sometimes it's really helpful to think of the 5-finger rule and just do 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 in all of your senses. And it helps bring you back and calm you down just a little bit. All right, so we talked about our math strategies, our 3 math strategies we have to help. And then we talked a little bit about test anxiety. We will go into that more in the weeks to come. Now we are going to go to the CAASPP website and we're going to do a little practice and training test. So I am actually going to put this link in the chat for you. I'm going to send it to everyone. Okay, so you guys all should have received that link and you could be on this with me. And we're going to go ahead and do, I'm going to step away from the slides for a little bit and I'm just going to do it with you. So you guys can get there and then you guys can minimize me. Sometimes if you minimize the Zoom screen, you'll just be able to see my face if you want to do that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click the student interface practice and training test. We're just doing the practice and training test today. So I'm going to click it. And we're going to be guest users and guest sessions. The only thing with this is it's not going to actually hold your score. So you could do this multiple times, but it's not going to be able to score you and it's not going to save your progress. So moms and dads, if you're working with kids, I would recommend get a piece of scratch paper, sit down with them, work through a few problems just for the remainder of the afternoon, whatever you guys feel comfortable with. I'm going to click sign in and it's going to go through. And then I'm going to select my grade. We are all 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I'm going to click 3rd grade. I taught 3rd grade when I was in the classroom. And we are going to do the 3rd grade. If you're 4th grade, it'll say start 4th grade. If you're 5th grade, it'll say start grade 5. We're going to do the math practice test, not the performance task. These performance tasks are coming up in the weeks to come. These are our more written portions. We're just going to do the actual practice test, which is more multiple choice and just answering single digit or double digit number questions. So I'm going to click the math practice test. And this is going to come up right here. I'm going to choose my settings. If you need sign language, how you want it presented, text to speech. This is just the basic setting. If you don't need any special settings, this is all going to be perfect for you. And we're just going to scroll all the way down and press select. And then this screen is going to come up for you, the sound and video playback check. I don't think you guys are going to be able to hear it on mine because I have headphones on, but you're going to play this and you hear a little noise. And if you can hear it, you put, I could play sound and video. And then after I click I could play it, I'm going to press continue. And then there's the test setting and help guide. Now in the real test, since it's virtual, it's going to ask you to start your webcam and see if it can actually see you. And it's going to ask if it can hear you as well, because you'll be interacting with your supervising teacher through the CAASPP test when you need help. So it's really important that you guys have webcams too. And the webcams are going to be on. But for the practice test, that's not the case today. All right. And then I'm going to begin my test now. And when I do that, my first question comes up and then I'm able to answer and you guys are in. So last week we started a little bit with just the practicing of the next, the save, the pause, going back to other questions, things like that. And then practicing right here with the mark for review or a notepad if you wanted to do notes. So I recommend that you guys continue to do that. If you guys got lost at all, these slides are going to be available for you. If you want me to email them to you, you can message me in the chat box, your email. I will email these slides to you. It is the same exact steps that I just did. I gave you the link. I gave you one step shorter. This is just the CAASPP.org website, and then it takes you to the practice and training test. And then this goes through the steps that we did. We pressed the green one, we signed in, we selected our grade, and then we are doing the blue arrow, the practice test. Remember, if you're fourth grade, it's going to say grade 4. If you're fifth grade, it's going to say grade 5. And we did third grade for those third graders today. Again, here's some more parent resources. I have these every week on here, but in case you haven't gotten to them, they're from the state. They're parent resources that have been released if you're curious as to what the state is saying. And then again, Typetastic. If you want the Typetastic free subscription, you can reach out to your supervising teacher and they can sign you up for that. So yes, you don't have to press save. Sometimes it allows you to go. Someone asked, do we press save before going to the next question? You should be able just to click next, but sometimes it'll make you save it. I recommend sometimes just saving periodically, especially if you're on a page for a little while. If you have any questions, you can contact your ST directly after this session, or you can reach out to me. I'm going to go ahead and put my email in here. I'm pretty good at responding quickly. sievert@compasscharters.org. I'm going to put that in the chat for you. You can email me at any time and I will be there to help you. And then we also have this attendance survey. If you could fill that out for me. And the attendance survey, this is your email address, what grade you are, what charter you're from, if the scholars were here, the parents, both of you. Whoops, sorry. And if you have any other questions, you can put them on there as well. All right, perfect. And then now I'm going to still be here for a little bit. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'll be here to answer any questions on here. If you guys have any questions, you can chat me and I will be here answering. All right, thank you guys. And if you're done, you're free to go and take the practice test. If you want to hang out with me here, I'll be here as well.